Bailey's such a piece of shit. Let me tell you something. If we got to put this behind like some paywall so my family won't pay for it, then I can say whatever I want.
I'm going to email it to your mom.
You know what I was
so
thinking
that she
about?
pays for
my
it.
mom won't. I don't give
I'm going
to care less about what she thinks about
Who do you care then?
Just, the audience at home.
No,
politics is very, very.
He's
politics is very, very touchy.
He's beating around the bush here.
Dude, there's all kinds of, Anyway, let's just talk some sports. Let's get.
I want to start with something though.
All right, let's start with something.
First
of all, okay, let's start the podcast.
I want to start with something. We're not rolling.
We are rolling. We're not rolling.
We are rolling.
Go
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, you got to say like and subscribe at the beginning of the episode.
You.
Otherwise,
I put it at the beginning.
Otherwise, Jeremiah be like, you guys don't fucking ask for whatever.
You told me, and I did do it last time. Did you not watch the episode?
No, I didn't. I never watch the episodes. I show up and talk.
I know.
People always tell me how they went, if they were bad or if I did something wrong. A lot of people tell me I dropped too many F-bombs, which I'm well aware of. I try not to. It just comes out.
All right, please, if you are watching this and you have not subscribed, please first do that. It takes 2 seconds. Click the subscribe button. If you're watching this video and you're a supporter of us, please click the like button. And most importantly, obviously we want subscribers. Obviously we want likes. If you're watching this all the way through, we appreciate it. But most importantly, please comment. We don't get a lot of comments because people think, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It really is. The more engagement we have on our posts, the better. And we are really trying to bring a ton of free, fun content for you guys. We're trying to do more things. In order to do that, we have to, at some point, build up enough to get some sponsors and be able to monetize and make a little bit of money off this thing so we can invest it back in the podcast and bring new content to you guys. So please, like, subscribe, and most importantly, comment. And if you do that, it will help us out tremendously, and it'll save a puppy in the long run. So it's worth it because good karma.
Save dogs.
Save dogs. That's right. I don't know how it'll happen.
Just comment.
Every comment.
I love Big Dog in the comments.
Don't do that. Please don't do that.
All his fans, millions of fans worldwide.
Every comment saves a puppy's life. And if you don't comment or you hit the dislike button, you kill a puppy. So just know that. But I want to start with something.
Okay, let's do it. Let's start.
I can't believe we still haven't heard back from Jeff Davis. Now,
that is very true.
After last week, I put his name in the fucking title.
Well, I don't know. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if last week's episode with your dad releasing all his songs is the best to get sponsors for the show. So if he actually did watch that episode, Jeff, that's not an accurate, well, it may be an accurate depiction of the show and Big Dog's on, but it's not who we are.
All right. Well, I did forget to post because I was just burnt last week, and
yeah, dude, you were like dead in here. It was actually pretty funny. I was like, Dylan walks in for everybody at home and goes, what's going on? Like, nothing, man. Like, 10 minutes later, he's like, well, we don't have a lot to talk about, but I don't have a script or anything. And I was like, okay, that's fine for me. Like, I get, talk about anything. But then your dad obviously came in and took up, I don't know how much was cut. I don't know what you did, but took about 45 minutes of her time.
I cut what was necessary to cut. And
well, there was a lot of it that was probably necessary to cut.
You deemed
my brother does say he's in your corner. Obviously, he always is, and says that I do egg your father on.
Yeah, 100% you do. Of course you do. What do you mean?
This
isn't a debate.
I tee him up.
This isn't a debate.
We're partners in crime. Okay. When he goes, even before he goes, you better fucking laugh at this shit and tee me up or something along those lines.
Of course he said that, and you do it. But you follow along. But I'm gonna put the video of me hitting number 4 in roulette on this week's video. I was down to $6, baby, and you know what number I played? I played fucking 4 for Jeff Davis, and look what hit. Fucking 4, baby. Let's go. 4 is on fire. Fucking unreal. And I'm gonna put the photo of me in the airport with Jeff with the 4s because I really think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy a cutout. Cardboard cutout of Jeff Davis.
And just put him in the back. Free ads.
Oh, I like that. I actually wasn't even going to say that, but that's a good idea. I was going to say I'm going to take him around San Antonio and take pictures saying, Jeff has your back at lunch. Jeff has your back when you're riding a bike. Jeff has your back when you're going bowling, when you're eating nachos, when you get caught, by your wife at the strip club, whatever. He's got your back all the time.
He's here for you.
And I go, and take a little quick video of each of the places that he has your back, which would take a long time because it's everywhere. But
you would have to go everywhere.
This, just saying, we still haven't heard back. A little disappointed, but it is what it is.
We still love you, Jeff. Don't get it twisted.
Do you have a best thing you saw this week?
I did, and I'm trying to think of it right now. You just threw that on me. Best thing I saw this week.
Do I need to go?
No, because I'm going to steal yours. It was Angel, whatever her name is,
Reese.
Angel Reese urgently trying to get her what double in a row?
Is this the quadruple team?
Yeah, the quadruple team.
I don't know how many
in
a
the
row.
WNBA, like I said, if there's anything about the WNBA that I can't appreciate, anything at all, it's the pettiness in the league. Like, they were like, you're absolutely, like, they know that she missed shots like the game before, whatever it was to keep the streak going. And then they're down, 15 points? It was 30 seconds left. Yeah. And the Liberty threw 4 girls on her. She was quadruple teamed. And I was like, this is peak pettiness in sports. This is what it's all about. Like, we're not going to let you, like, she's acting like they're acting like these are important double-doubles. Like, the Sky are losing, and she's just getting them in trash time anyway. Yes. Just to keep the streak going.
Which, by the way, is the most unimpressive streak I've ever heard in my entire life. Like 14 double-doubles in a row in the WNBA, getting 10 points and 10 rebounds. And she's not doing it by a lot. She's having to get these in the last few minutes, like you said. But more than that, the game before, actually, it might have been 2 games before. I think it was 2 games before. They were playing the Atlanta Dream. And literally, it was the exact same scenario. She needed 2 points in the final, I think, 15 seconds of the game. They're up by 9. So, they're going to dribble the ball out. And she's in the post calling for the ball. And the girl from Atlanta purposely, intentionally fouls her so that she can shoot 2 free throws to get over it. And then is clapping for her at the line when she makes the free throws just to extend the streak, which was a joke in itself. So then the game after, she purposely missed a bunch of shots late to get her own rebound. Got it that way. And then this one, I agree. That was awesome. God bless the New York Liberty for doing that because it was disgusting watching her try to do that. And then she's so mad afterwards, walking off the floor,
flailing her hands, untucked her jersey. Oh my God. Anyway, it was peak pettiness.
Yeah.
And that's hopefully for everybody at home all we talk about the WNBA this week.
Oh, it's not.
I'm praying. Bailey's wagging his finger. Dylan's saying it's not. But if the good folks of America, I know 95% of you do not care. And,
In fact, I think we should just talk about it now since we're already on the topic. And let's talk a little CaitlinClark here because what a week for the future Rookie of the Year. Yes, she is going to win Rookie of the Year despite what Dawn Staley says, despite what all the ESPN women reporter.
Who the fuck's Dawn Staley?
The coach of South Carolina.
Oh. I'm proud not to know that.
That's right.
At home. I pride myself on sports knowledge. I'm glad I don't know who the head women's basketball coach is at South Carolina.
You know what? Actually, while we're doing this, before we even go into CaitlinClark, I have a fun little game for you. And I'll put it up on the screen so we can play together. So I'm going to give you...
Look, Donald Trump didn't dodge a bullet this weekend and have his ear blown off for me to have to sit here and talk about the WNBA.
Listen, we just said we weren't going to talk about this, and Turner brings it up. Turner is the one saying, I don't want to talk about politics.
Perfect segue. And I don't, but I'm just saying the Don didn't give up his right ear.
He's going on the wall of grit. I'll say that. He's going on the wall of grit. You can't pull the trump card. Yeah, you can't pull the trump card after you just said we're not talking about it. Come on now. All right, give me let me cast to this thing here. Okay.
It was too perfect not to. Sometimes I just can't help myself.
Well, we could have just started with it and had some better content, but no. Okay, this is the 50-inch TCL Roku. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you a picture of a WNBA or non-WNBA player, and you're going to have to tell me whether it is a WNBA player or not. Well, the only problem is
I'm closing my eyes.
I'm gonna full disclosure here. You can look now. Full disclosure. The problem is this. I think I saved the answers and I deleted the names of the players.
So you don't even know.
Hold on. I know which one is and isn't, but I don't know their names.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me real quick. I'm gonna pull this up and see. Okay, don't look. I got the answers. Okay. So
earmuffs.
All right. So I've got this one. All right. So you're gonna tell me we're gonna start. This is A, number one. All right. Is this a WNBA player or not a WNBA player?
No, it's not.
Not a WNBA player. Okay.
She runs track and field for Team
Hold on,
USA.
Okay, that is Lindsay Allen of the Minnesota Lynx. So she is a WNBA player. I tricked you on that one.
Is that Tony Allen's sister? Because they look alike.
That's a good That's a good question.
I mean, there's no they do.
We'll have to research team. Can we get on that, please? I do not.
He's like underdog on TNT. We'll have to find out that's Tony Allen's sister.
I don't know. All right, we're gonna go to number 2.
Okay.
Okay.
I gotta close
No.
my eyes
You're right.
again.
We're on the next one. Okay. WNBA player or non-WNBA player?
That looks like Jason Tatum. If Jason Tatum was a girl, like if you morph Jason Tatum with just a Snapchat to a girl, that's him right there. I'm gonna say no. Not a WNBA player.
You're over 2. That is actually, I know who this is. That is Natasha Cloud of the Phoenix Mercury.
It's very embarrassing. You know who that is. I just like the state.
I've watched them play.
Very embarrassing.
I've watched that. Hold on. That I have a reason. Okay. First of all, well, to be fair, I knew her before this, but that's the girl Jonathan bet on for first basket, who screwed him over and missed the wide open 3.
Hopefully, Jonathan left that all in Las Vegas.
Oh, he definitely did.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Did we get an answer on the Tony Allen thing? No relation to Tony Allen. Okay, thanks, research team.
I'll be the judge of that.
We appreciate that. All right, we're going to go to the next one, okay? We're 0 for 2. We're going to go down here. All right, WNBA player or non-WNBA player?
That is... Bailey's shaking his head no. I'm going to stick with no. I think these are going to all end up being WNBA players. But
no, they're definitely not all WNBA players.
Then no.
This is not a WNBA player. This is George Bush's daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, George Bush's daughter. I thought that was a good one. I thought it was a tough one. I thought it was a good.
She looks like she could play in the WNBA.
It's possible, right? It's a possibility. All right. Okay. Now, I've got 2 left for you. Okay. So here's the next one. Wait. Let's go back up and over. All right. Here's the next one. WNBA player or non-WNBA player? I actually do know who this is as well, regardless of whether it is or not.
That one, yeah. I don't. What does the hat say?
AZ. Ass. WNBA player or non-WNBA player?
I'm going to say she is.
That is a WNBA player. You're 2 for 4. That is Sophie Cunningham, also of the Phoenix Mercury.
Knew it.
Yep.
Knew it. Know her.
Okay, so you're 2 for 4, and we've got 1 left. Okay, this is the toughest one.
And let me be honest with all the folks at home. I'd probably be 0 for 4 if out of the corner of my eye I can't see Bailey shaking his head yes or no to me.
Yeah. Bailey,
so
let him answer this one.
I would probably be 0 for 4.
Let him answer this one, because this is a tough one, okay? Is this a WNBA player or non-WNBA player?
Oh, I know who that is. That's Joanna Mann. Is that Joanna Mann?
Joanna
yes.
Mann. Let's go.
I nailed that one. Classic movie.
You were 3
When I
for
saw
5.
that, I was like, that girl looks like she could ball. That's Joanna Mann, brother.
That's 3 for 5, and he got the last one on the dot. That's impressive.
I knew that was I knew you were going to throw in Joanna Mann somewhere. I was like, last but not least, this one.
I thought that was pretty good. Yeah, there's my dad. That was my dad. You like that one?
Oh, my God.
That's got to go on the podcast, too.
He's going to like that one.
Bailey never actually legitimately laughs at anything. He's laughing.
Take a picture of that, Bailey, and send it to him. That's what he gets for doing everything is rigged.
Welcome to Photoshop. That's right. I have to tag him back a bunch. Okay. All right.
He was laughing so hard at that.
Let me disconnect.
He got such great joy of you sitting there.
Yeah, he wanted me.
Your home video talking over your home video.
You know, he wanted me to put the lyrics like running down the bottom of it. I was like, "You're out of your fucking mind."
Do you know how long that's gonna take?
Yeah,
there's no shot.
There's no fucking way I'm editing that for you. Okay, all right. So we've gotten through that. Let's since I know we spent a lot of time on WNBA, I just want to talk about Caitlin Clark. She is compelling, and she's had a great. Basically couple of weeks.
That is actually hilarious that we just started with WNBA player or not. We're still, how many minutes in? We're still talking WNBA.
Look, it's compelling. There's not a lot going on right now.
Well,
okay.
Hold on. There's, we had Wimbledon. We had the Euros.
Okay, how many of our viewers are tennis and soccer and...
I hope more than the WNBA. You think we got more WNBA followers?
Is your brother a biggest tennis, golf, or WNBA fan right now?
He's a soccer. He does like soccer.
You like soccer?
Jeremiah does like soccer.
Okay, well,
but he only likes the WNBA to troll me and support you because he always thinks you're up against it against Big Dog.
I think we just think on the same wavelength. And so he agrees with me, but I'll take the support where I can get it regardless of the reasoning.
I will say, like, I obviously don't give a shit about the WNBA, but the one thing I will say is I was a little unsure early on if, Caitlin Clark was obviously really good at Iowa. She was obviously the first pick, but, she just was getting acclimated to the league, I guess, and wasn't playing very well. But now she's playing great, so.
She's playing phenomenal.
She does seem like she is that good. I don't know how long the hype will hold on. I don't know if it's going to be forever. I pray to God every night it won't be, but if it is, then it is.
Month of July, she's averaging almost just under. Actually, if you round it up, she's averaging 20 points per game in the month of July, and she has had at least 11 assists in every game. She's averaging over 10 assists. So she's averaging a double-double in July. She's averaging 20 points, 10 assists. She's second in the league in assists. She also is averaging, I believe, 2.5 steals per game. Now, her turnovers are up pretty high still. She's shooting the ball better. They're winning. They're in 7th place now. There's been a debate all week about the Angel Reese being the rookie of the year. It's a joke. It's a joke. Everybody knows it's a joke. Vegas has the odds at Caitlin Clark minus 750. Anybody with a brain knows it's not close. You have one girl, dropping triple doubles in legitimate games against teams where they're trying to defend her, guarding her, picking her up full court, right, trapping her on ball screens. And you have another girl who shoots 40% on layups, gets her own rebound, and then tries to get a double-double with 30 seconds to go in the game to make it look like she did something important when she's like the 4th best player on her own team. Nobody cares. But, of course, you have all the women and all the minority women specifically on ESPN. It's not just them. It's everybody. But them specifically going out and saying, this is, Angel Reese is the favorite now because they have to go support her to make this a divisive thing. We can't just call it like we see it, which is reality. Anyway, we're going to find out, too, because the WNBA All-Stars, and Caitlin was the top WNBA All-Star vote getter by, like, double. And so, I think
she deserves to be an All-Star anyway. Like I said, I don't follow it at all, but just seeing what she's done the last month, I would assume she deserves to be an All-Star.
Yeah, because
anyway. you would have known she was always going to be the lead vote getter, right? I mean, no matter what. It's just the fans, right?
But it's interesting because Angel Reese has a higher social media following because she tries to do that stuff and Caitlin Clark doesn't.
Huh.
And she was still the last person, I believe, who made the All-Star team. Angel Reese was the last girl to make the All-Star team, and I thought it was interesting because I don't think she would have made the All-Star team unless it was the fans. I do think Caitlin Clark would have. Regardless, the debate is dumb. Clearly one player better than the other. I'm just tired of ESPN just pushing narratives. It's bothering the shit out of me. They keep doing it with Bronny James, which we'll get into. They keep doing it with
James is
Angel Reese.
We should talk about that next.
Let's talk about it because we'll move on to Summer League.
Bronny James is I have not seen him play yet, but I've seen the box scores after each game, and they look horrific. The one other thing I'll say, and you can comment on this because you follow it way more than me, was LeBron James being dead serious when he said that he deserved a team on Team USA? Was that like a real deal?
Wait, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, it had to be like a parody or something. I saw like all over. It was like LeBron James says Bronny deserves it had to be fake, which is good. Because I was like, he's terrible. So if that was actually said, you never put it past LeBron. That's why I was like, there's no way he actually said that. So that's good. I saw that out of the corner of my eye scrolling, and I was like, I hope that's not true, but with LeBron James, it might be.
He in 3 Summer League games averaged, I believe, 4.5 points.
But
no, I'm sorry, 5 points.
How many times is he shooting the ball?
6 for 26, 0 for 12 from 3.
He hasn't made 1 3?
Nope, 0
Dude,
for 12.
Big Dog would put a 3 in.
I mean, if I shot 12 threes, I haven't played in a year. I legitimately believe if you threw me out and I took the threes that he took, which most of them are probably pretty open because he's not a good shooter.
Yeah.
I guarantee I'd make one. And I haven't played in a year.
Oh,
I'd make one.
I guarantee you'd make 2.
Yeah,
probably.
I mean, the guy is horrible, and it's funny because I know the quality of basketball in the Summer League is worse than college. And so you have a guy playing arguably worse in a worse level basketball. And, like, it's going to be easier to score here and put up some numbers in a summer league game than it is in a collegiate game. And he's putting up the same exact thing that he did in college. And of course he started he's starting. It's a joke. Yeah. It really is. It's a joke. It's become a parody. And so it's funny because the only guy who I heard, I take it back. Not the only guy. Bomani Jones also tweeted, like, I'm disgusted at my former colleagues at ESPN who, deny what the truth is, that this kid was given his shot based purely on his name. He did not deserve it, and I can't believe that they won't just do their job and say that at ESPN.
Someone said it really well on there where they were talking about nepotism and whatever, and he was like, listen, obviously that's what's going on here, but he goes, we got to have people from the outside quit acting like this is the fucking first time it's happened. He goes, it's rampant in the NBA. Look at Austin
that was
Rivers.
Woj. I think. I don't know. Actually, Woj said it on draft night.
Oh, nah. Well, I think someone else did because he was talking about Austin, and obviously Austin Rivers is a better player than Bronny, but he was just talking about the sense that, like, or when it comes to coaches or like whatever it is, our front office, and it's just like basically someone was making the point, which I somewhat agree with, that it's like, how are we this delusional to think that it wouldn't happen with LeBron James' son? Like, obviously, it was always, as long as he can dribble the basketball and he's a tall kid that's fairly athletic, they were always going to let LeBron James do this no matter what. Now, does he deserve to be in the league? Of course not, right? But
he's not tall. He's 6 feet, 6'1".
I'm just saying athletic.
But yes, I agree. I hear you.
Can somewhat play basketball. Because obviously, he's a middle of the, like this year going into college, he'd be a middle of the road college player. Like
he would have, in all reality, more than likely he would have transferred to like somewhere else, like SMU, a mid-level program where he would have been a sixth man or started and been the last option. Like, and then he might have just fizzled out and never played again, or transferred to a mid-major, lower-level school after this year. He never would have made the league. What I think though is, I heard that argument too. Woj brought up the exact same thing. I don't know if it was Woj who you're talking about, but he said the same thing. He said it's run rampant in this league for a long time. I don't want to hear nepotism. This is nepotism. Okay, but
it is, obviously.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, I don't want to hear it because nepotism is ran rampant in this league, but they proceeded to sit up there and say that he deserved to be drafted. Well, you can't have it both ways. You can't say he deserved to be drafted. Everybody, dude, everyone on ESPN, that whole set, there were 6 different people up there, and not a single one of them said he wouldn't have been drafted if it weren't for his name. They all said, well, they're drafting him. He had a cardiac arrest, so we can't judge him. I mean, he could be a really good player. He's LeBron's son. Like,
I forgot about
that. They all were saying that shit. Like, okay, well, then why is he going to the NBA? Why does he need to go to the NBA right now? Well, because LeBron wants to play with him. Well, why is he demanding that he gets a full contract and not a 2-way contract? Why is he demanding that he goes to only one play? Like, who does? What the fuck? Did Michael Jordan's son get that treatment? Michael Jordan's the best player of all time, not even debatable. Greatest player of all time, didn't get that treatment, right? And the only thing I will say about this, and nepotism-wise, I agree. It happens all over coaching and all over the front office. I think it's just as wrong, though. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's complete bullshit. As somebody who couldn't get a head coaching job because it's all politics in a high school, and I imagine the level of nepotism that goes along that runs rampant in college and in the NBA, you have all that. It bothers me more than anybody, but nobody talks about it. But they want to bring up LeBron James or Bronny James getting drafted and make it this huge topic. Well, then we're going to talk about the reasoning for it, right? You can't ignore it. You can't bring it up and ignore that. So I thought ESPN pushed a narrative that he deserved to be drafted, and they continue to push that narrative. Now it's looking real bad, and even Stephen A. Smith is admitting, like, yeah, he wouldn't have been drafted if it weren't for his name. Mad Dog was on there basically arguing, like, that's ridiculous. Like, he's horrible. He wouldn't have even played for UConn. He wouldn't have even played for UConn. He'd been the 4th guard on UConn, okay? And you have him drafted in the NBA. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. He's not even a top 100 player.
I love Mad Dog. He's nuts.
He's great. I love him. But
he's celebrating on national TV when his wife and kids leave town. I can't wait to sit at home and
eat my
gummies and drink a whiskey.
He's great.
Call Fat Rob. Put money on the games.
Is that his bookie?
I have no idea. You can't even. His stories are just like so outlandish that you have no idea.
It's
going over one of the funniest things I've ever seen on TV was him going over the like his new Christmas demands at the house. It's like, I don't need to go to church on Christmas. He goes, he can go the night before, the night after. He goes, the Cowboys are playing. I don't need to miss the Cowboys. The Cowboys are on. And then it's like talking about his wife hiding gifts up in the attic for their like 36 and 33-year-old kids. It's like, honey, they don't care. They're not going to go under the tree and peek in their presents. They do not care. And then he said, and last but not least, Ma, I don't need you making that eggplant parmesan anymore for Christmas. You burn it every year. We don't need it. And Stephen A. just looks at him like disgusted. How dare you go after your mom? He's like, I know, you're not going to watch this anyway.
That's so funny.
He's great.
Have you watched any of the Summer League?
0.0.
It's actually not been
I wanted
great.
to watch Castle play, which he seems to be playing well.
Man, he looked really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
That's exciting. I mean, obviously, he took, I saw a stat line, I think the first Vegas one, he was like 8 for 21. So he shot the ball a lot, had 22 points, but people are saying he's playing good defense. Didn't make a lot of threes, but hopefully that will come and we can teach the kid to shoot. And
that's his biggest thing.
Hopefully we have him for a long time to come.
I was really impressed watching him in both Sacramento and in Vegas with his ball handling. I didn't realize how good of a ball handler he was because he played off the ball so much at UConn because they had Cam Spencer and Tristan Newton and other guys who were smaller than him bring the ball up a lot. Now, he would push it in transition on rebounds, but he didn't bring the ball up and initiate the offense. I didn't realize he could do that. So that's the one thing I will say, maybe he can play point guard. They have him listed as a 2. I don't see it. I think he's going to be I would be surprised if after this year, he's not our starting point guard.
Oh, really?
Like,
you think he's going to be a point guard?
I think he's going to be our starting point guard after this year because we have Chris Paul for just 1 year. So I think Chris Paul will start this year because he's going to play. That's why he came here. I really do.
I mean, you can obviously look at guys and know right away that you think they can do it or not. I have no idea. So.
Just from what I saw, I didn't think he could play point guard coming in. But what I've seen in Summer League, he makes really good decisions. He can pass the ball. But it's really his handles. Like, I just didn't realize. And in today's league, if you have a guy who can handle the ball and he's 6'5", it is so advantageous to have a guy that big at your point guard and not have him be 6'2", 6'1". Because if you are 6'2", 6'3", whatever, you really need to be one of two things. Either a freak athlete or you need to be a phenomenal shooter. He is neither of those things. So, he's tall. And so if you have a guy 6'5" who can play point guard and he handles the ball that well and makes good decisions, now it's going to be a matter of teaching him to shoot. And
obviously it's, first game of Summer League, away overreactions, like where Wemby didn't even have like good Summer League. But going to talk about Dillingham, did you see his first game?
Yeah.
T-Wolves, he was like 0 for 8 or something from 3?
It was not good. He had a better second game.
Oh, did he? He played better.
He didn't shoot the ball much better, but he had 14 points, 8 assists, 2 steals. So I mean, he was. I think he still shot it. He was 2 of 4 from 3, but he was 5 of 14 from the field. This is game 2, so he didn't play great. But look, yeah, I agree. Like, it's just such an overreaction. I saw a Spurs thread, and I was arguing with them, like, you guys are acting like first of all, the funny part that I think about it is we wouldn't necessarily have drafted him. Like, they wanted Dillingham. That's why we picked him, right? So we passed on the possibility of him, and I know you liked him. I liked him as the second option. I wanted Knecht, who has looked really good in Summer League.
I would have much rather had Knecht, but my thing with Dillingham is just at in the moment, I was like, why the hell are we just keep him in?
I agree.
But if we have, plans to make Castle the starting point guard after CP3's here, then that's great too.
I get it. I still would have taken Knecht.
For sure. I mean, I think the Lakers getting him at whatever it was is a steal. Has he been good in Summer League?
Yeah, he was.
I mean, obviously he's going to get his points. So, I mean, typically.
I didn't see the last game he played, but I know in Sacramento, like, one of the games he was really, really good. Let me see what he did. Yeah, he was the leading scorer in the Vegas Summer League game, and that team sucks. He was 9 of 18, 5 of 11 from 3, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and 0 turnovers.
Damn, yeah.
I mean, really fucking good. So I don't know. I just think he was the most polished player. He was the best shooter, best scorer, and the best shot creator.
And what was the knack? I mean, his defense, and they said he was old.
Old. That was mainly. It was more the age. It wasn't the defense. It was the age. He's 23 or 22. Like, come on, man. It's fucking stupid. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. We can move on.
So we're gonna go next week. We'll do. Well, when are we gonna start talking college football?
No, definitely next week we should start doing something.
Maybe we can reach out to Lucas. Maybe he'll come on again. We get
Bailey's
boy.
I do. That's right. I forgot. We might have a guest next week.
Oh, okay, cool.
The guy who I told you about who worked at ESPN doing the camera switching. I don't know if he'll be the full time, but I think he might come in person. So I'm not sure. We'll see. But we're going to start college football previews soon. Maybe we'll even do a set, like if we have time on the weekend to shoot like a preview show, standalone preview show of like some of the bigger conferences. We can do that. But
did you see, by the way, speaking of just hilarious things in college football, did you see Mike Gundy defend?
Oh God, yeah, let's talk about that.
One of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. So Ollie Gordon, right, gets picked up for a D-Wobbly. We don't advocate drinking and driving on this show. But when you have a head football coach that comes on the mic and says, hell, I looked into it a little bit more, and I know through inside information that Mike Gundy is a world-class drinker, okay? It's well known throughout I could tell
football. You with no fucking information, just looking at him and listening to him talk, he's a world-class drinker.
It's a well-known fact in college football. Him and Dana Holgerson can booze. Holgerson, I think, is the leader in the clubhouse.
What is it about West Virginia? You got Bobby Huggins, too.
Yeah, I don't know. But Gundy gets on the mic and is like, hell, I look more into it, and it's 3-4 drinks or whatever. He's like, it's a body weight thing. He goes, I think about it, I could have been pulled over thousands of times. I could have 1,000 of these or whatever.
He didn't say probably. He said, I've done that 1,000 times in my life.
You guys asked about punishment. Ain't punishment. They're just going to hand the ball 50 times a game. It's like the most like old school, like, Friday Night Light shit ever where he's like, I think I might just hand it to him 50 times a game.
They're doing too much learning in the schools.
Yeah, you gotta love Mike Gundy.
We're doing too much learning in the schools. We need to be drinking, partying, and playing football.
He's got
God, family, booze.
He's got some of the funniest. And then you think back on the "I'm a man, I'm 40, you come at me," which is another all-time classic. That's when he was young at Oklahoma State. That was crazy how long ago that was.
It was like early 2000s. Yeah, he's a character, man. I listened to somebody, I think it was on, I can't remember, maybe Freddie and Fitzsimmons. No, I'm sorry. It's Freddie and Harry Douglas now who do that show. But they were talking about like him saying that, and I can't remember who was filling in. It was some lady, Sarah Spain or Ashley, but I forget. I actually like the girl on there. I just forget her name. Anyway, she was like, I just don't know why you would say this. He's like, I don't understand.
You can say it behind closed doors, baby.
It's like, she's like, I was trying to push aside my emotions towards it and try to understand why he was saying that. She's like, I think he was trying to be like, it's not a big deal because it could happen to anyone, but the way he said it, I've done it 1,000 times. It's like just the wrong thing to say. You just
and of course, I don't think there's any news coming out from Oklahoma State condemning. They're like, oh hell, it's just Mike being Mike. Yeah. What are you gonna do about it?
I mean,
he ain't going anywhere. He's a football coach.
Didn't he have something where he said some racial thing a couple years back?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember something, and it was a big deal for a minute, and then nothing happened.
I don't even think it was a big.
No, it wasn't a big deal.
I think he was trying to make a comparison to something maybe with slavery or something, and people took it the wrong way, and he apologized. Maybe I don't know. I don't think he's dropping big words or anything over there.
Well, that's what
is that what he's accused of?
I'm just looking at it right here, and it said that this was an article from 2020 that Alfred Williams, a former star linebacker at Colorado, wants an apology from Mike Gundy after renewing an allegation that the Oklahoma State coach called him the N-word in 1989 when Gundy was a player for the Cowboys. Dude, I have no idea. 1989, we're talking 30 years ago from that time. I mean, I don't know. He's a player.
That's a crazy thing to just bring out of the woodwork.
I actually thought it was something else. I thought he was wearing some T-shirt or something that was insensitive, or I don't remember what it was. But Yeah, that guy tried that. If that was what it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
anyway,
Mike Gundy's a treasure that needs to be protected at all costs. We're losing college football coaches like Mike Gundy. With Leach, the Pirate gone, he's a direct. I mean, all those guys, him, Holgerson, those are the guys you want coaching your football team. Another thing in college football I thought was really interesting. I was reading on it. The College Football Hall of Fame, to get in it as a coach, you need a 60% win percentage. And Mike Leach is at like 59.6. And so like people are arguing like it's always been like cut and dry. You have to be at 60%.
Is it a legitimate rule or is it unwritten rule?
No, well, it's a legitimate rule, I think. But people are like, no, like you can't. People are like, he's going to get in. They're going to make a way for him to get in. He was only 3 points. And they were like, if he came back to coach, more than likely that Mississippi State team and all those guys.
Yeah, he was building it up.
He's like, if he coached another year, probably would have gotten there anyway. He goes, the guys turned all kinds of programs around. He went into places that, no one else would. And not to mention, he changed like the offensive style of football, period.
Yeah.
So they're like, everybody doesn't know for sure, but they're hoping he gets in. So they're like, all the schools will go to bat for him, Tech, Washington State, even Mississippi State. So
he definitely deserves it.
For sure.
If he was 50%, I would say he deserves it for what he did for college football.
But being that close, come on.
Oh no, for that close, it shouldn't even be a debate. I mean, like you said, look at he was at Texas Tech, Washington State, and Mississippi State. Like, come on, there's nowhere places that had no shot of winning. I know Mississippi State, he hadn't completely turned around yet, but they had a couple of decent years, and he was going to turn that one around. And they had, like you said, they had that Will, I think was it Will Anderson? I can't remember his name, but they had a good quarterback coming back as well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
be good.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about. Oh, I want to say one more thing on the NBA because this was important.
Yeah.
And my dad also sent me a list of topics that we have to talk about because we got to be somewhat on par with the national shows.
Oh,
Jalen Brunson. I don't know if you saw this. I actually was shocked when I heard it, and then I listened to some people talk about it.
Restructured, right? So they can bring people in, basically?
He didn't even restructure. This is what's crazy about it. He signed his deal, like, when he went to the Knicks.
Yeah. He
signed that deal after leaving Dallas or whatever, and it was, like, very... At the time, everybody was like, man, you're giving this guy a lot of money, but... It ended up being a terrible deal for him. I think he made like $20 million a year or something, right? Well, now he becomes this superstar, and so he's eligible for the, extension. It was, I believe he was eligible for a 5-year, $269 million extension, which would have come out to about $54 million a year. Instead, he took a 4-year, $156 million, which is $39 a year. So he basically cut off $15 million a year, a little bit more, and left $113 million on the table to be able. I mean, the idea is what you're saying, right? Restructure.
Yeah.
But it was an extension. But it's just crazy when you think about it. A guy who has not gotten paid yet. Like, I mean, I'm not saying he hasn't gotten paid. Everybody makes ridiculous money in the NBA. I get it.
Yeah.
But relative to the market, he has not gotten paid yet. He was underrated coming out of college. He got drafted late. He didn't get a good he had a cheap rookie deal. He goes and signs a deal, becomes a superstar. Now it's time to get paid, and instead he goes and takes a pay cut. That was like one of the cooler things I've seen done in the NBA in a long time.
For sure.
Like, that told me a lot about him.
I saw that too. I didn't know how much of a pay cut he took, but yeah, that's good for him. Wants to win a championship, wants to keep the Nova boys together and everybody get paid. So
you know what I think too? I guarantee you they talked, and obviously it was an ongoing discussion about like who, if let's say you take this pay cut, what
you can bring in.
And I was thinking about it, and like the guy who is going to be up in a couple of years, he is going to be, it's not, let's see, it's going to be, what is this, 24, 25? I believe 2 more years. I could be wrong, but I think it's 2 more years. Giannis Antetokounmpo will be up, and if they don't win another championship and they have Doc Rivers sitting there as their coach, might just be able to get him, or the Bucks might be willing to part with him if he's like, hey, I'm not coming back, and there's a year like the Kawhi Spurs situation, right? And they say, well, and he's like, I want to go to the Knicks and nowhere else. that could.
Bucks better do everything they can to keep him. If not, they trade him to the Knicks for like 5 first-rounders. Or something
yeah, exactly.
crazy.
Yeah, that's what they would do. I mean, I would never let him go unless you just thought he had no chance.
The thing about it is, if he's being honest with you, if you're the GM going in that last year, you'd be like, hey, we want to re-sign you now, or we want to trade. Just be fair to us so they can get something.
That's what I'm saying.
And plus, he doesn't. He brought them a championship anyway, so he doesn't owe the city. I mean,
no, he doesn't
anyway. But if you are that organization, because how old is Giannis now?
Well, he would be. Let's see. I think he's 29.
Yeah,
he's 29 or 30. Yeah.
So I mean, another year. I mean, they may be if they don't get it done this year.
29.
Win another championship or get close. It might be time to.
Yeah,
it's going to be weird because they're going to lose Brook Lopez, correct? Or are they going to be able to re-sign him?
I think they are going to.
He's a free agent, so.
But I mean, he's
actually a big part of. People don't realize. Like I don't watch a ton of NBA, but the games I do see, he's like popping threes and grabbing rebounds. Like
he's a big part of it. It looks like he is still going to be on the team for this year. He's not a free agent until next year. Yep, he's going to make $23 million this year. So. Yeah, but I just thought that Jalen Brunson doing that was awesome.
Very cool, yeah. Trying to bring that. They'll love him in New York for all time, for forever.
Yes.
If he takes that pay cut, they bring another player here, and they end up winning the title.
And even just being able to get guys right now, like they got Mikal Bridges, and they brought in, OG Anunoby last year, and they just re-signed him. So they're trying to keep cap space all open. All those guys want to win, obviously.
Yep.
And it's a cool deal. They're all guys who played together, and and then they drafted Tyler Kolek, who's a Big East guy as well. So
did they draft him?
They draft Tyler Kolek. So like they have a lot of Big East guys who are winners over there, who have hard nosed type of players. But yeah, thought that was it was funny because you look at LeBron James like, I'll take a pay cut in order to bring another free agent here. And he cut himself from 56 to 53 million. Like he cut like $3 million a year for 2 years off his salary. Like, oh, thanks, LeBron. We really appreciate you open up a mid-level exception player for us. Not even half of a mid-level.
He did that so they could bring in Bronny and pay him.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah, that's a good point.
I'll take a pay cut. You just pay my son that much.
You know what? I didn't even think about that. That's exactly what he did. Yeah. That's exactly what he did.
Talk about idiots in the NBA. How about, have we heard anything about the Kawhi Leonard situation being sent home from Team USA?
Is
it a detriment to the team, or is it like he was hurt again, or like what was going on with that?
What was really interesting was it was not Kawhi. Like when it first came out, they made it sound like Kawhi made the decision, right? Like at which point I was like, okay, makes sense. Kawhi Leonard dropping off a team, what a shock.
Yeah.
And the reality was Grant Hill is the director of basketball operations, makes the decisions, and I'm sure they had a whole team helping him.
Yeah.
He sent him home.
Wow.
He sent him home, and they claimed.
He said best, he was doing the best for both parties type of deal.
For Clippers.
And the Clippers,
yeah. But the funny thing is like 2 days before that happened, Kawhi was like on record saying, yeah, the Clippers don't care if I'm playing in the Olympics. They just like I'm if I'm healthy now, they want me to play. And so like, They 2 days ago were totally fine with him playing in the Olympics, and now the Clippers are like, no, we don't want him. No, they would never. Ballmer would never go and say we don't want him playing in the Olympics. They don't care. What does it matter? He's not, he's not playing for you for another couple months or whatever. Like, I would rather just keep him happy at this point and hope to God that he somehow plays in the playoffs in the next couple years. Regardless, no, I think what it was I think he is healthy, and I think people don't like him. I legitimately think people don't like playing with him. I don't think he is the level of star that he was 2 or 3 years ago.
No, definitely not.
And so it's like, do we really want another guy who's a ball-dominant guy who's not going to compete at a super, super high level? He's not going to sacrifice his body or sacrifice to win the gold medal. Do we want a guy like that, or do we want somebody else who will do that? Now, does bring up another topic, which is why they would replace him with Derek White. Because
that was weird.
They're acting like, oh, well, he's a good
Instead
piece.
Instead of Jaylen Brown, which was all the drama in the league.
Come on.
Which was all the drama in the league.
Or Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, how there's 30 players better than Derek White.
But I think that goes into the thing where it's like, hey, Derek White, I guess the thinking could be, he's a super team guy. I think everybody loves Derek White.
Yeah, they do.
And he's just a prolific 3-point shooter. So
I get it.
They wanted, and they're like, well, percentage-wise, he's better than both those guys, and that's what we need coming off the bench. If that's what they decide they need, it makes sense, and I just think he's super, super likable. And so
he better never play.
Yeah, I bet
he better never play.
Well, he'll play when we're beating.
That's what I mean. We're beating
South
Slovakia
Sudan by 108. I mean, he'll play in that game. But I think that's literally one of the games on the schedule. I was looking. He's like, who's in our group? And I think I saw South Sudan, like something, just maybe Sudan. I don't know. Let's see.
South Sudan. That they're in the Olympics. Well, I thought it was a weird move. I think like here this brings it up again. I think that's in some way I think that is a political move. Like, why would you?
USA versus South Sudan, yeah, in the United Kingdom. I guess it's in London. I guess
it's an exhibition.
It's a tune-up, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, what? That'll be one of those.
There's no way they qualified.
That'll be one of those deals where they are like signing autographs for the opposing team after the game. They'll be like taking their shoes off and asking LeBron to sign their shit after the game.
Yeah, for sure. It's like soccer with like Messi and Ronaldo, and everybody runs over and tries to like trade shirts with them. Like, and they're like, "Can I get autographs?" And Ronaldo's like, "Yeah, we'll do it in the back." Like, there's a line of those guys.
That's what we should do. We should start our own country. And offer to play, USA and all the Olympic events.
Yeah,
and then we can just get free autographs and pawn them off and fund our podcast. I like the idea. That's kind of what Barstool did with their own they did their whole TBT tournament or whatever, right?
Yeah, they had that team, which
that was hilarious.
Hysterical.
That was like when they first got started, decent size. All right, let's talk a little golf. We had the Scottish Open this weekend. Scotty Scheffler didn't play, did he?
I
don't think he did because I looked him up and I don't know. He definitely.
I didn't see him at the top of the leaderboard, so probably didn't play.
He did not play. The last tournament he played was the Travelers Championship that he won. So
he's been off now for just family, spending time with the family.
I guess. Because that was this Scottish Open was the only tournament that any of the big pros played in since the U.S. Open besides Travelers, right? So there's only 2 tournaments anyway, and he sat this one out.
Yeah.
And I think he did that because he played, I believe it was the Memorial right before the U.S. Open, and then he said he was fatigued at the U.S. Open, and that's why he didn't play the Scottish Open. But I still don't think he's going to win the British Open. I guess what do we call it now? The Open Championships?
The Open Championship.
Okay, and it's at Royal Troon?
Is it Royal Troon this time?
Troon,
I don't know.
sorry.
I don't know.
I believe it is at Royal Troon. For the 10th time, I believe.
Okay.
So we have...
Let's pull it up here.
Well, let's talk real quick about the Scottish Open.
Yep.
We had a guy from Scotland win it, right? Robbie McIntyre got his first PGA Tour win not too long ago,
Open,
right?
Yep,
about a month ago, 2 months ago. And that was with his dad on the bag as his caddy.
Yep.
His dad obviously was just a fill-in that day, or that weekend, but he actually won again. It looked like Adam Scott actually was going to find a way to get a win or get in a playoff.
The first time in a long time, right?
Yeah,
Adam Scott hadn't won in a long time.
And McIntyre had to birdie the last hole and made a 21-foot putt to win it.
Yeah, it was when he was over the putt, I thought he was going to make it. Thought it was destiny. He came up just short last year. He had an incredible shot. It came down to him and Rory, and he had a shot on 18 there, and it shows you how differently Scottish links golf courses play, or links courses in general, just on the direction of the wind. Like last year, I think the wind was into him 40 miles an hour, and he had hit driver 3-wood from the fescue to roll it up to the pin, and then this year it was driver 8 or 9 iron in. So it's funny how just the wind there, just depending what direction it's out of, can just kill you. But I'm glad to see him win. They were going crazy for him. Scotland's own. He's loved in Europe. They've always loved Bob McIntyre. He's on the Ryder Cup team, and people like him, enjoy him. So I was glad to see him get the win. Adam Scott would have been cool since he hadn't won in a while, but I would have rather seen Bob McIntyre win that. Yesterday, funny enough, I'm trying to remember the name. Isco, it changed. It was the Barbasol Open, now it's the Isco.
Oh, I see.
Whatever. But it was the lower level PGA Tour event, and they had a 5-way playoff. It was 5 guys. That's what I was trying to get at. 5 guys, yeah. And it was crazy. All down the stretch. The guys didn't really choke, but had some bad breaks. It was windy into the 18th green, and the greens had gotten hard. So right when it hit the green, there was trouble, water and rocks right off the back of the green. So this guy ended up making bogey, and it sent us to a 5-way playoff.
Oh, my gosh.
I think they went 3 playoff holes, and then the third playoff hole was a par 3, and all of them missed the green. It was kind of a tough little hole, and then Harry Hall chipped it in from off the green to win the 5-man playoff. The other two missed it.
He chipped it in for birdie? Nobody else made birdie on the par 3?
Yeah.
How many were they all off the green? Were they all left at that point? All 5 of them, or
no? 3 left.
3 of them were left. Yeah. Okay.
2 got knocked out on the first hole. They all parred. The second time they played 18. I think it was Pearson, Cody. They're twins. One of them went to UT.
I was watching that tournament. Pearson, Cody won. Yeah. He was ahead a lot of the week.
He didn't win.
He didn't win. Harry Hall won. I see. But Pearson, Cody was in the playoff.
He was winning the whole week.
He was winning the whole week.
He actually had to birdie. He had to birdie 18 to get into the playoff. He made a nice putt. And then on the first 2 playoff holes, Naismith, who's never won on tour, they said either missed 2 easy birdie putts. So
question. I heard that the top 2 from that tournament got into the Open Championship. How do they determine that in the playoff?
Interesting question. I think the winner of the playoff gets in, and then whoever's higher in the golf rankings gets the second spot, I believe.
Okay.
It wouldn't matter because the way those playoffs work, right? If you're out of it, you just pick up your ball, so you don't finish out. So it's not like, hey, those 2 guys go to another playoff. You're all in second. So I believe whoever's ranked the highest.
Whoever was second of the rest of the tie break.
The other 4 players that didn't win, whoever had the highest golf world ranking. I believe that's how it used to happen.
Got it.
Because I used to always think it would be cool. Because a lot of times it would be the one in Iowa, or the one in Iowa, the John Deere or whatever. I think it's in Iowa, but anyway, that used to be the last one before the British Open, before this Barbasol one or whatever, and now the Eastco.
Yeah,
but there would be a lot of times guys. It would be the top 3 would tie. And I'd be like, oh, it'd be cool to see them all go out there and play a playoff.
Yeah, it would be.
It's the highest ranking goes. Yeah. At least it used to be. I don't know what it is now. So
that's like in like 2021. I think it was the Wyndham Championship I was watching, and it was a 6-man playoff, and it came down to I guess they replayed 18.
Yeah.
And all 6 guys parred it on the playoff on the first hole. So it was a 6-man playoff. They all parred it, and then they went back and played it again. And on the last one, Kevin Kisner made a putt for birdie, and everybody else missed, and he won the playoff. Yeah, that was the last time Kevin Kisner won a tournament. I remember because I was rooting for Kiz because he's like one of my favorite golfers. But
love Kiz.
Before we get into we'll get into the British Open or the Open Championship. But I was going to say, did you watch any of the American Century Championship this weekend?
I did. Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. Marty Fish is a hell of a golfer.
Was he the one who...
Did he break the record?
He wasn't the one who got screwed last year when Steph Curry won because they yelled in his backswing? That wasn't him, right? Or
probably was him because he's always about to... He's always...
Wait, is Marty Fish a tennis player?
Ex-tennis player. He was an up and coming. He lived with, did you see the documentary on Netflix? It was really good if you haven't watched it. He lived with Andy Roddick's family for a while growing up so he could train with
He's the one who struggled mentally with a bunch of stuff. I'm pretty sure that's him.
Yeah, no, it is Marty Fish.
Yeah. I'm saying the one who got yelled in his backswing last year. I think it was him.
Probably him. Yeah, so he
was it even close?
No. Yes and no. I mean, he pulled away at the end, I think, there, but...
Did Steph play in it again?
Yeah, he was like middle of the pack. Marty Fish is, let's see how old he is. He's 42. A lot of people think that when he gets to be 50 and
play on the Champions Tour?
Yeah, because he's still in really good shape, and he's like, at that point, he's still probably not going to beat the Steve Strickers of the world or the Ernie Els, but he's like good enough to be a low-level senior tour player. That's what people think. Like John Smoltz, John Smoltz is a little bit older, but got whipped by Marty Fish this week. And I think he qualified or almost qualified for a senior U.S. Open. So some of those guys are really good golfers. And Marty Fish kind of puts the hammer down on them. So Tony Romo played apparently pretty bad. I think he was out there.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you that.
Was he out there? I was going to ask you if he played.
I didn't know.
Let's see.
I was trying to look up and see if it was Marty
scoreboard.
Fish on that last hole.
It had to be last year, I bet. I mean, I don't know.
Yes, it was. It was Marty Fish. Because I felt so bad for him for not winning because he was going to win. He had to just like make a par.
Crazy Curry beat him. Because Curry's a fine golfer. Don't get me wrong. Better than most of these guys, but he's not as good as Marty Fish. Marty Fish, maybe he's just learned to putt better, but I mean, he pulled away from everybody this
Yeah,
this
I mean, Steph Curry played really good, and then Marty Fish was going to win. I think he had to just make a par. He might have even had to make just a bogey. And he hit the ball in the woods like 20 yards because the guy yelled in his backswing. Like it was literally that was why he didn't win. And then of course Steph Curry didn't acknowledge it. Just was celebrating that he won. Anyway, by the way, I played pretty good. I played this weekend 3 times. Played 9 holes. I played 27.
You played good?
Yeah, I played really good. I figured out what was going on with my irons. Remember last time I was really struggling with my irons? Mm-hmm. I figured out I was hitting the ball too steep. I had to shallow, like I was bringing the ball. I don't need to talk about this on the podcast, but I was going too back like straight instead of kind of like making
inside.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Listen, my game's been in shambles. I've
played good times. For me.
Yeah.
I shot on the front 9 from the white tees. On the first day I played, I shot 4 over on the front 9.
Shit, that's good.
It's the best I've played in a long time.
That would definitely have beaten me lately, for sure.
It was the best I've played.
Out of the 3 rounds I've played most recently, 2 of them have been absolute shank fest horror stories.
No, one of them.
No, 2 of them.
2 out of
3. No, not with you. I'm talking about what I've been playing lately. I said it's like, I mean, we played once at anyway, Tapatio once at Canyon Springs for a tournament, and then at the Buckhorn last week. And at the Buckhorn, I play well there because it's wide open, but I just couldn't figure it out.
Huh?
We're gonna have to. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to go see either a psychologist or a swing coach because it's bad.
I think you do. Just as a person, as a friend, I think you need to see a psychiatrist.
There's no doubt. I already see those about plenty of stuff.
You know what? Maybe we can go together.
Sports psychologist.
Maybe we can go together.
Yeah. I definitely need to see plenty.
Trust me, I have my own personal counselor, but
medical professionals.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, it's been bad.
A lot of issues on this show.
Yeah, Marty Fish has been he's very good. So I'm interested to see 7-8 years down the line if he does. I assume he will try to go at least play some of the senior tour events.
Yeah, be
fun to see.
What about?
So British Open this week, right? That's what we're getting into. That's Open Championship. I think we talked. Let me look. I know I tried to listen, folks. If you're paying attention at home, I did call the last major champion.
You did. Okay, so give me a winner
here.
That's
what I'm gonna go
because I have I
have no idea. I haven't obviously
my buddy because
Open
my buddy gave me. I've got $170 in free play right now. I got a nice little chunk of free play, so I need a winner here. Okay.
You should have taken Bryson, bitch.
I know, you're telling me.
Let's see.
Make the wrong decision every time. No, I'm actually not gambling until football season, but I'm gonna put $20 of my free play on a winner.
$20 on just an outright.
I know who I want to pick, so if you pick him, I'm gonna take him.
Well, we've already talked multiple times about it. That I think. Where is he on the odds?
14-1.
Is that I'm looking for him? I keep missing. There he is. Yeah, this one it says 16-1. We've talked about it. Morikawa.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I mean, he played really good yesterday.
He's in great form.
He always plays. He's won an Open Championship. I think that he makes the most sense. If I took anybody for the price, I would take him. I'm gonna make my official. Yeah, I'll make him my official pick.
Okay.
If I was gonna take one more, I would take Tommy fucking Fleetwood.
Oh my God.
It's time Tommy does it. Now, I'm picking Morikawa. I hope Fleetwood
Who's your official pick?
Morikawa.
Okay.
Yeah, official pick.
If you had to pick somebody else, you're saying you would take Fleetwood?
Fleetwood and Ludwig, because Ludwig has been playing really good, but just having that one bad round, if he can somehow eliminate that on that style of course. But the problem with Ludwig, he's 12-1. I wouldn't take him at that. But he was winning the Scottish Open.
He was probably going to win.
He apparently hit 4 fairways the last round.
He did.
Like his driver just fell apart on him.
But he seems to do that every tournament.
Sure. But when he figures that out, he's going to start killing probably. I mean, I think once he figures that out, the mental side of how to, because he's won plenty in his career. And
has he won on the PGA Tour?
I don't know if he's won on the PGA Tour yet. I'm just saying throughout his college career.
No, I know that. I'm just saying. I'm just wondering.
Beat downs in the Ryder Cup. I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
How old is he?
23, 22. I mean, he's just out of college.
That's crazy. I didn't realize he was that young.
What, dude. They put him on the Ryder Cup team. You went to Texas Tech
in college.
They put him on the Ryder Cup team like 5 months out of college. He just started playing on tour, and he was so good. They're like, he's got. Okay, I'll make my official picks Morikawa, and if I had to take two others just for fun, for $5, $10, I would go Fleetwood and your boy Tom Kim at 55-1. Tom Kim, for whatever reason.
You couldn't fucking pay me to put
Tom Kim. For whatever reason, sorry, I want to do Tom Kim. Let me backtrack. Tom Kim.
He picked A-Bird. Now he fucking switches to Tom Kim. Now it's not Tom Kim. Oh, you're turning into big dog over here. Make a pick.
My official pick's Morikawa.
All right. What were you going to say just now after Tom Kim?
I said the other three guys, like if you were going to do fun stuff with it, I wouldn't take Ludwig because his odds are too bad. So we eliminate him.
Erase
so Morikawa to win, and then do like Tommy Fleetwood top 5. And Tom Kim top 5. Because those are both probably like 7-1 or something like that.
Tommy Fleetwood was in the mix. Was it last year?
Yeah.
He's right in the mix. And I thought he was going to actually have a chance to win.
But I don't know. Yeah, it should be. I always I'll be honest, I don't wake up for the first 2 rounds of it, but I do watch Saturday and Sunday of it.
Do they start like in the middle of the night?
Yeah, tee times will start like 2 a.m.
I watched.
You'll be up. You'll see him tee off.
I'll see him tee.
Yeah, he'll be up.
I'll tell you this.
No problem for you.
Listen to this. I was on Saturday night. We had Wimbledon at 8 a.m. That's very early for me.
Yeah,
any day, let alone on the weekend.
You were texting me before I was up.
What happened was I wanted to try to go to sleep early to try to get up to watch that, and so I would lay down at about 1 o'clock. I fell asleep at 6 a.m. and I woke up at 8. So I slept 2 hours, and then I was like, well, I'm up. Like, I'm going to watch it. And then I stayed up the entire day. So last night I actually went to bed. I think it was like 11:30. Like, I legitimately went to bed at like, I got a full 8 hours of sleep last night for the first time in a while. And it was because I watched Wimbledon yesterday. Anyway. All right.
There you go.
Well, let's lead into Wimbledon here real quick. We'll just recap. I know we had actually the tournament itself wasn't very good. If I'm being honest, at least on the men's side, it wasn't. I heard some people.
The women's side was just batshit crazy. I mean,
the women's side was.
If you got $1,000,000 to 1 on predicting Paulini and Barbara Krejcikova to be in the.
Krejcikova was playing out of her mind. I guess I heard she was a top 5 player before injuries. Is that right?
Yeah, she was always pretty good, but on grass, you wouldn't really. She's a good clay player and a hard court player, but she doesn't hit the ball particularly hard, so you wouldn't necessarily think she'd be able to win Wimbledon. But yeah, she's always been a solid player. Yeah, I mean, she played good. I thought she was going to kill her after watching the first set, and then Paolini actually won the second set and was in the match late. I think, 6-4 in the third. I still think, and tell me if you agree, I think they should unless the women don't want to do this, I think they should play 5-set majors. What's the difference? Why? There's no difference in terms of stamina between men and women. Why can't they play a 5-set? Yeah, I don't know. I think that's always been the argument for the men that say, hey, look, if it's equal prize money at these majors, they need to be playing best 3 at 5 sets. I agree with that. We're playing longer than them, so they're actually making more money than us in theory. And I think they should play 5 sets, regardless of the money. I just think if we're going to make that's the difference of the majors, right? Like, the major tournaments those 4 are best of 5 sets. Every other tournament the rest of the year is best 2 out of 3. The women, it's the same thing. It's just like you're just playing in a different place. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, there's a difference. They could do it 4 times a year too. Right. I mean, it's not a big deal. But we had on the men's side, obviously, Carlos Alcaraz wins his second Wimbledon title and his second Grand Slam in a row after winning the French Open like less than a month ago. He really didn't play all the way up until the championship yesterday, and then he was playing out of his mind. I really thought Alcaraz would win, but I truly thought Djokovic was going to put up a better fight. Obviously, he had his knee
issue. He had surgery like 2 weeks before the tournament started. And,
Novak. Yeah.
But he beat. I know he didn't play anybody. Like who was
He had a great draw.
He did have a great draw.
And DeMonar on the walkover on DeMonar, and that would have been his most physical match because DeMonar just makes you play. So he would have been out there.
And DeMonar beat him not too long ago in a different tournament.
Yeah. So would have been an interesting one. So he couldn't go. And then you get Musetti in the semifinals, which is he's not a bad player, but if you could draw him every single time in the semifinal, you would take him.
How about Taylor Fritz choking away? He goes out and beats. Who did he beat in that?
He came back 2-0 to beat Zverev and was up 2-0 and
against Musetti and chokes it away.
Musetti,
that was the most Taylor Fritz thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. What are you doing?
And it was a real chance to get to a final because Djokovic, like he said, wasn't really 100%. I think Joker said it in his press conference too. He said, he was just a half step quicker than me all day. Like, all credit to him. He was just much better. There's nothing I can do.
He is better.
Oh, yeah. Well, at this point, for sure, Carlos is
Will Carlos win more Grand Slams than Djokovic?
No. Because the reason I say that is just a longevity deal. He certainly has the potential to do it.
Right.
He has the game to do it. But to be lucky and stay as healthy as Djokovic has over that period of time, it's just hard to do. Yeah. He could do it. Don't get me wrong. But, grass, you can argue that grass is his worst surface, and he's won the last 2 Wimbledon. So.
And, if you think about it, he's 21.
Yeah.
Djokovic is 37. So he's 21 Grand Slams behind him. He will have 64 Grand Slams if he plays in every single one until he is 37. So he'd legitimately have to win a third of the Grand Slams all the way through to get there.
It's just so hard to do.
It's so hard to do.
He, like I said, in theory, he could do it. If you told me he was going to be healthy the whole time, then sure. But I just can't imagine that's the case.
I think it also depends on how it 100% depends on how Jannik Sinner and some of these other younger guys develop, because Djokovic was so lucky, and it's why I still think, in my opinion, and people probably who are, and I'm not a huge tennis person, but in my opinion, Djokovic is the 3rd greatest ever. I think Federer's 1, Nadal is 2, and Djokovic is 3, because I think that Djokovic came, luckily for him, he's a little bit younger than both Nadal and Federer, right? Yeah. And so I actually don't know how old Nadal is, because I know he hasn't officially retired, right? Or has he?
No, he hasn't officially retired. I think he's playing at the U.S. Open. But.
Nadal is 38, so he's actually pretty. But Djokovic kind of hit his prime after Federer and Nadal were kind of not as good anymore. Well, not as good, but they were towards the end of where their prime was. So when Djokovic got to his peak, Federer and Nadal started declining. He could win a lot more. Whereas when Federer and Nadal were both at their peak, they both were playing each other all the fucking time, and they took each other's titles away, which is why they split. If Nadal or Federer didn't exist, the other one would have 35 Grand Slams. Legitimately, They would have. Yeah. So to me, because of that, I think Federer, and I'm biased, and I never liked Federer growing up.
Neither did I, but I like him now.
And he's my favorite. I love the guy. I didn't like him because I was a big Andy Roddick fan, and he'd always beat Andy Roddick.
Oh, yeah.
The worst one was, I think it was 2009 Wimbledon final, went 5 sets. Roddick had a match point. And anyway, but
yep.
Yeah, so that's just my opinion. I think Djokovic is the 3rd greatest ever. But like I said, I think it depends on Jannik Sinner and, Zverev and some of those younger guys. Are they going to get close to that level to where they're going to have 1 or 2 of those guys competing with Alcaraz to win 5 to 10 majors? Because if not, then that's when I would think, okay, because that's the thing. He didn't play good in this tournament. It's his worst surface, like you said, and he won. There wasn't a lot of challenge. It just seems to me like he wins when he wants to. And when for him to lose, he basically has to lose focus for 3 full sets. He really does. Yeah. Or just have a really off day.
I think Jannik Sinner can compete with him.
I do too.
Pretty well.
When he's at the top of his game.
When he's playing well. So, I think they'll be good rivals for years to come. But we'll see who else, steps in as far as big young talent. There's some, but no one's really, besides you have those 2. Then you have, your next level, which is your Medvedevs, who would I've almost put like in the same mini than Zverev, Tsitsipas, Fritz, and those guys. But,
Right.
I would expect Zverev to win a few. I told you that. I think he'll win a few. He's a good enough player. He's got a big enough game to do so. But yeah, I mean, Carlos, who knows? Time will tell. If he stays healthy, he's gonna win a lot of Grand Slams.
You got a pick for the U.S. Open or no? We don't have to do it now. I guess we got a while.
We got a while.
Oh wait,
into that one.
Okay. Let's see. Last couple things, and then we'll just kind of wrap up with some fun topics as we're almost to. We're right at probably about an hour 20. Okay, so let's talk real quick. Sum up. We had 2 major soccer tournaments, and we had Copa America last night. Argentina wins it 1-0. They went to extra time where Argentina scored. I believe it was like the 105th or 6th minute, somewhere around there. Messi was out of the game. He got hurt and got carted off.
Non-contact injury. Got
Not
hurt.
good.
So that's good. Big story of the Copa. Well, taking away from Argentina with basically the three-peat, because they won the Copa, they won the World Cup, and they won another Copa, which is crazy because the knock on Messi was he could never win a tournament. So then the last 4 years of his career, he wins all the big ones.
Is Copa every 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just splits like when the World Cup is. So,
okay.
yeah, every 2 years. It's every 4 years, but it's just
I
because
see.
we had the World Cup in the middle.
Then World Cup, then, I see.
Yeah. So, but taking away from all that was just a clusterfuck of the Copa America with the Uruguay's players going in the stands after they lost to Colombia and fighting. Did you see that? It was like Malice at the Palace throwing. But they did say, I think a lot of them really didn't get in big trouble because they did say that it was like that was where their families were sitting. Like that was where and these people were attacking their families. So when they went into the stands.
Oh, that's why they went into the stands.
That's what they say. And there's
what they say.
And I think
okay.
there's proof to back it up because I know someone grabbed a kid. A kid from somebody and was his kid and brought him onto the field and like it was cluster. Then yesterday, the Colombian Argentina fans stormed the gates at
Why
Miami
did they do that?
So they could get in for free. They just stormed the gates.
Oh.
They ran in. They just like power bombed them and ran in.
So they were
the
trying
videos are insane, dude.
They were trying to just get in and watch the game for free.
Yeah.
And they thought they were going to just let them do it once they got in.
Well, they couldn't get them out. They didn't know. You'd have to check everybody's ticket.
They didn't get them out.
No.
I thought they did get them out. That's why it started so late.
Some people out probably, but they didn't get all of them. They didn't go around checking everybody's ticket.
Well, they could have just cleared the stadium.
Yeah, no, they didn't. They didn't do that. They didn't want. It was a cluster.
Are you sure they didn't clear it?
Yeah, they said
what?
One journalist wrote that they thought there was like 7,000 extra people in there. 7,000 and 10,000 extra people in there at kickoff.
That's bullshit.
No, I'm sure they got a lot of them out. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they rounded up some of them, but yeah, just ran it. It was an ugly scene.
So, like, what about people who paid for their tickets?
That was the deal. They said that a lot of people that paid for their tickets came in, and there were people just sitting in their seats. They're like, these are seats. And they were just like, fuck you. It's like they didn't do anything.
And they didn't go tell like an usher or anything?
I guess they just.
Dude, I would have been like, I bet they're going to have to refund a lot of people tickets their money.
It was a cluster.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Copa screwed that. The Euros, the classic old story. England gets to the final. England loses in the final. The whole country's devastated. People over here don't understand how big of a deal it is, but you can see videos of England and just all kinds of people are
chanting England till we die.
Yeah, they were heartbroken. They
scored in like the 70th or around the 70th minute.
Yeah.
Down 1-0, and it was a beautiful goal. It was like great passing, and the guy kind of like dropped it back behind him, and somebody came and slid in from outside the box and just ripped one, and it snuck inside the left post, and they tied the game. Everybody was going nuts. Looked like it was going to go to extra time. But Spain is just so good at possession, and then they just lulled them to sleep, and then just one mistake, and guy got ran past, and they scored in like the 88th minute.
Yep.
And that was it.
Spain was the best team.
Actually, I forgot. I don't know if you saw the highlight, but after Spain scored that goal, the next possession, England went straight down the field.
Yeah.
They kicked it to a guy who took a touch, and if he turned around, he was going to score, and he just missed it. He goes out for a corner, and there was a header. The goalie saved it. There was another header, and it was a complete wide open goal, and the guy just was able to like with his head. Yes, and it was close to still going in right there.
It was very close. Yeah, it was like on the line probably.
It was unbelievable.
Crazy. I mean, the third header went over the bar. Yeah, it's just agonizing.
Yeah.
agonizing for England. But yeah, so those are the two big soccer tournaments going on. They were fun to watch. I watched quite a bit of them. Yeah, but credit to Spain. They were the best team in the tournament pretty much the whole time. So
they're not like they were like years ago where they were like unbeatable.
Well, they're kind of getting that way because they just have a ton of young talent. They got Nico Williams on the wing and Yamal. I always forget his name. The kid that just turned 17. He was 16 most of the tournament.
Right.
And then he turned 17. Both those guys, I think both of them are with Barcelona. But anyway, yeah, they got a lot of good young talent on that team, and they deserve to win it, and they did. I feel bad for England. I feel bad for I'm a Harry Kane fan because I like Tottenham, so he can never get over the 32, maybe something like that.
Oh, before I have a few other things because I got to get to my dad's. Hold on,
your dad's.
My dad's topics. Wait.
Uh-oh.
I'm just gonna read this because it's funny. We covered Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Right. We covered Caitlin Clark and Team. He wanted me to talk about her being on Team USA. Well, here's what he said. He said, "Talk about Women USA team question response on Caitlin. She's a lightweight. Read it." That's the text I got. I don't know what that means. He also said before that, the text before that said, let me just read. Subject 1, Jalen Brunson takes $113 million pay cut to stay with the Knick on a 3-year deal that you first lead topic. I listen at 7 in morning sports talk every morning. Always talk Dak Prescott or something you can use as tag in your video and Cowboys. Then he says, BBC in JJ. I don't know what that means, but after last week when he said he likes balls, I have somewhat of an idea of what that means. Just saying. And Turner had to correct him and say, "You don't like balls, big dog." I'm going to get Bailey. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut where he says, "I like balls." And then I'm going to cut to that other one where he says, "Fuck." And he yells into the mic. And it's just going to be a repeat loop gif of him saying that. It's a fucking great idea. I forgot where it was. I need to find that in there. I don't really know what we can talk about Cowboys, actually, now that I think about it. I do want to mention, though, did you see Jacoby Jones died?
Yeah, that was sad.
That's sad. But you know what was weird about it is they said he died peacefully at his house. He's 40. Did he have cancer or something? Nobody knew about it?
No idea.
You know, he was...
you never know. Sometimes if they say something like that, usually they just, could go in their sleep and they don't know yet. I mean, it could be something along those lines.
So weird.
Very weird.
He was known for the Mile High Miracle back in 2013 divisional round. They were down 28-35 with like 38 seconds to go against Denver.
Uh-huh.
And he caught a 70-yard bomb from Joe Flacco, ran it in, tied the game. I think they went on to win. He also was the first player to ever record both a receiving and a kick return touchdown in a Super Bowl in the same game in NFL history.
That return in the Super Bowl is crazy.
108 yards.
Yeah.
Longest ever in Super Bowl history. Probably will never be broken in Super Bowl history. I mean, they could beat it by 1 yard.
I wouldn't think so, yeah.
Yeah. But that's sad. I don't know what happened there. I don't know, not quite sure how he died. I mean, it's just kind of such a random deal.
Very young, sad.
We've been having some weird things happen in this country in the last couple weeks. All right, we got basically most of our topics out of the way, but skipped probably the biggest news of all, which is that if you pre-ordered the game and you're a normal human, unlike these people who somehow have the game already and are posting clips on YouTube, I don't understand how they get the game so early.
Are those just like streamers getting
Yeah, whatever. Like I would be, I'll tell you this, if I was a streamer, I'd be a man of the people. I wouldn't play until everybody else could play. Okay? I refuse to play until everyone else plays. I thought about legitimately not even playing the early release date today, but then I realized that was only because I didn't want to spend the extra $25 on the deluxe edition, but I did it anyway, and I got it. And so
what is the deluxe edition? What do you get?
Literally nothing. You get 4,600 college football points. I don't know what that means, and you get 3-day early access. That's it.
So is it
Ultimate Team
Pack? Is it just you just download it or you get the disc?
I just downloaded it.
See, I would have wanted the disc.
Well, see,
I'm
but I don't even have
Don't you shake your fucking head over me there, Bailey?
I don't. My PS5 doesn't even have discs. I cannot buy discs. It's all digital. Yes.
That's crazy.
Well, you can pick which one you want.
This isn't America.
Look, I'm not saying. I
want to wait in line at fucking GameStop. I want a fucking disc.
I agree. I like the disc. There's something about opening a new game, the smell of it. Yes.
Wrapper,
no, it is. There's
popping it out of there for the first time.
No, I agree. There's
waiting in line at GameStop at midnight. Corey.
I agree with you on that. 100%.
Every year, people just don't know the struggle. Now you damn kids get to sit at home and download it right to your Xbox.
Oh, dude, you pre-download it. Like the game's already downloaded. I just can't play it till 3:00.
That's funny.
It's crazy. Anyway, it comes out today. I'm going to go home. I'm going to get this whole video edited, and then I'm going to sit there and wait to play. If Turner wants to come over and play later, if Bailey wants to come over and play later, they're welcome to, because I'll just buy another controller. I only have one, but I'm gonna buy another one anyway. But we need Turner to start making some money so he can buy his PS5. Not that I have any money. I bought it and I don't have any money. But
nah, I'll get one.
I'm joking.
I need to get one.
I'm sure Turner could get a PS5 right now. But
barely.
Well, I barely. I'll tell you. No. I seriously barely could buy it. Like dude, this is actually fucking funny now that we're talking about this. So I didn't want my dad to know, my mom and dad to know that I spent $450. I hope they don't watch this. $450 on a PS5 because they've been really on me about conserving my money because I don't have any. And so I had saved up like
Yeah, you've been saving.
I saved up $3,000 for Vegas. I took an X amount out of my account like a couple months ago and put it in an investment, so I'm not allowed to touch that. So I don't have a lot to work with left in there. But so I saved up like $3,000 or whatever, spent some on Vegas. But so I used that money to buy it. So anyway, we were in Blanco, and I had brought it up there because I wanted to set it up. And so I had left it out in the middle room. And I remember thinking to myself, like, they won't know the difference between a PS4 and a PS5. Like, they will have no idea the difference. And so my mom walked by there, and she was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "That's my PlayStation." And she's like, "It looks weird." Now, like, I've played PlayStation out there before, so she knows what it looks like, but she's like, whatever. Just keeps walking by. I was like, thank God she didn't know I paid $500 for this thing. And then dropped another fucking $80 on the game. And then bought fucking online. God, it's expensive. It's just bullshit. And sorry, they screw you.
Oh, so you have to buy the online.
No, you don't. But if we want to play online Dynasty, or if I want to play Bailey tonight.
I thought PlayStation used to be like free online, right?
Dude, it used to be free. Not only is it not free now, there are levels. It's so stupid. So it's like $79 for the year for the low level. If you want the essential, if you want the plus, it's $100 or $99, and then the premium's like $139. It's something ridiculous like that. Now they come with different levels. If you get the middle one, you get access to certain games for free. But it's just like it's all a money grab. Yeah. That's all that matters. Like I'm over it. Anyway, NCAA football today. We're hyped. We are ready for this. We're gonna come over. What's our first game when we play? We never had teams we played with against each other. Like, we would do randoms.
Who did I used to play with back in the day?
I'll tell you who I'm playing with.
Who?
Texas. My Horns.
Yeah, of course.
They're the #1 team in the country.
I
know Arch. Did you see that? Arch opted into the game late.
I'm going to play with my hero, Mike Gundy, and the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Oh, so we got a rematch of the Big 12 championship this year.
Yeah, and I'm going to run it with Ollie Gordon 72 times.
I got to learn how to
put on chew clock like I always do and win the game. I'll never forget, we used to play 5-minute quarters. And dude, it was so funny when
I have to score on the first drive.
Some of my buddies would play, and they would do hurry up, and they would score in 30 seconds. So at the end of the quarter, score would be like 21-14. And then it's like halftime, 42-something. And then I would play them, and if I got the ball first, I'd put on chew clock and run it every single time for 4 yards. And what I would do was, it didn't matter. I would run the whole clock out before halftime, and it didn't matter if I kicked a field goal or a touchdown. And then they would get the ball to start the second half, and I would make it one drive in the second half where if I scored, I won.
So
if
annoying.
I kicked an extra point, they would get so mad. And then, of course, I would win with class, victory formation. They'd be like,
of course you take a knee.
I can't believe you take a knee. Oh, you're a fucking pussy. And it's like, we went with class over here.
I would usually not take a knee. I would be running it or throwing it deep late up by a touchdown.
I've lost a game like that before.
I haven't. I'd be safe about it.
And they grabbed it and ran it back.
I told you about the one with Carl. How we'd played 100 times. He had never beat me ever. And I turned it over on downs with like literally 4 seconds to go in the game, and all he had to do was take a knee, and he snapped the ball and started running around with Pat White. We were online. He was taunting me. He was taunting me. I finally beat you. All of a sudden, my big lineman fucking hits him. He fumbles the ball. Guy picks it up, and literally he just like goes silent. I run it all the way back for a touchdown, win the game on the last play. This was like literally the 100th time we played. He was 0-99 against me, and literally all I see is son of Katie, which was his gamer tag, has left the chat building. Or left whatever. Yeah. And so I won the game, and it was the funniest shit ever. He literally threw his controller and threw his Xbox. That's he was so hilarious. Mad. Anyway.
All right. Well, you folks enjoy NCAA.
Home run derby. Oh, sorry. Yeah. You want to talk about the home run derby before we're done?
Nah, no. Fuck the home run derby.
What about All-Star break? Anything like that? No?
All-Star break, Astros killing it like the last month. I think they had the best record in baseball, so only a game behind in the division to the Mariners after they looked dead in the water early on. They always come back. Rangers have been playing better. They're only 5 games back in the division. The Phillies look really good. They're annihilating everybody. They're up like 6 games on the Braves. Orioles up a game in the AL East over the Yankees. I think they're only up a game. But anyway, that division's close. Baseball's heating up. We'll talk more about it once we get to the postseason. Yep. It's just a long 162-game haul through the season. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's everything. And we'll be back next week. And we probably will have a guest here. Former guy, real cool guy, used to work at ESPN, worked for Turner Sports, did a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff on the camera, switching, doing replay, stuff like that. So we'll probably have him on next week. And we will be talking some NFL and college football here coming up. Also, I'm working on a new website for the podcast and for the whole sports company that I'm going to post soon, and we're going to have some gambling content. We have our new show coming up when football season starts. I'm also going to try to be doing some daily sports recaps in the morning, like a news brief type deal where I talk sports by myself in the morning here at the set. We'll see if I can get up and actually do it, but I'm going to try. I'm trying to build this thing up and do everything I can, and we'll have some new content coming soon. But thank you guys for tuning in this week. We'll catch you guys next week, and that's all I got. All right.